In this episode, I'm on a do-it-yourself spring bear hunt in my home province of Ontario. My good friend Sean Van Vliet was nice enough to allow me to set up a couple of baits on his property.
Well, I'm in a stand on a friend's property because of the pandemic. We haven't been able to go to the outfitters and stuff this year. So, unfortunately, we have to cancel our outfitted hunts. A good friend of mine was gracious enough to allow me to bait his property, a couple of baits on his property here, and it's been very successful so far. We've got tons and tons of pictures of bears. At least one is a giant. So I'm going to get quiet. I bumped a small bear off of this bait when I first came in. I've rebaited it. Now I'm going to let everything quieten down. Hopefully something will come in. Stick with me, we'll see what happens here.
Armed with my Canuck Hunter shotgun stuffed with score slugs, and sitting in my True North tree stand, I was feeling comfortable and confident. Multiple bears had been drawn to the scent of the Fatal Attraction Outdoors Berrylicious mineral mix that I had topped the baits with. Including this nice boar who was sneaking in cautiously from behind. While his view of me was partially obstructed by brush, I eased the gun to my shoulder. He tests the air, but his suspicions are overpowered by the aroma of the bait. Closed captioning in today's episode is brought to you by Canuck.
It's not the giant bear we were looking for, but that's okay with me. I've never ever referred to myself as a trophy hunter. That bear comes sneaking in behind me from an angle I wasn't expecting, and he was getting a little hanky there. He stopped and he stared for a bit, and I just kept slowly easing my gun up, and that I got the Canuck
once again, this gun's been really good to me. I've got a nice buck with it last fall. Now I got a bear with it. That bear came in at an odd angle and stood there, and he kind of looked at me funny. I think he's about a 250 pound bear, beautiful bear for eating. Had a beautiful black muzzle and black coat. I'm running out of time here. I'm about 6 hours from home, and with my schedule, trying to come up here to bait and then come up here, you know, numerous times for overnighters, trying to hunt and stuff like that. Really, it's tough for me to squeeze it all in. So when he came in there, he looked good, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna take him. I sure would love to have had a chance at that great big boar that's coming in here, but he's kind of intermittent. He was pretty steady there for a while, but then he kind of, last couple of days, he kind of backed off a bit. And that little sow, she came in earlier, the one that I bumped off the bait first thing this morning. She was really twitchy, and the wind is swirling around. So when this bear come in, I thought he was going to catch wind of me, and I kind of got a little nervous. I thought maybe he was going to bolt, but he didn't. He just stood there staring, so I knew he was suspicious. But yeah, I'm happy. I got a bear, and I'm going to get down here in a little bit. I'll tell you what, I've been sitting in this True North tree stand. It's the hang-on model with, you just put a bracket. It's fantastic for this sort of thing, or for hunting in like public ground. So many of us, you know, we find ourselves hunting on public ground quite often, and or places on our own property where we just, you know, unfortunately there's people out there that are unscrupulous, and if they find your stuff, they'll take it. So the beauty of this system from True North tree stands is you put a bracket on your tree. That's it. A little bracket, and you slip in with your stand, click it into place, and in no time at all, with very little sound, you're in position. It is very, very comfortable. This stand has a big platform. It's very lightweight to carry. It has it accommodates any tree that leans or anything like that, because it's got the cleat on the bottom of the stand will move out, and you can put the pin in anywhere, in any position you want. So it accommodates any of these leaning trees and stuff like that. I mean, there's nothing worse than being in a tree that's uncomfortable, and you can pretty much put this stand anywhere. So it's been really instrumental in me pulling off this hunt. I'm gonna pack up my stuff, and we'll get down and have a look at him. Well, there he is. I'm gonna say he's probably about 250. Which is fine with me. That's a good sized bear for me. Majority of the bears I've shot have been that size. Shot a few nice big ones, but this guy will do just fine. You saw how he came in there. He snuck around behind me, kind of staring up at me a little bit. I had to take him. He was quartered towards me a little bit, so I put the crosshairs right on the top ball of his shoulder there, just ahead of the ball of the shoulder. Exited through the lung. You heard the death moan. He flopped 10, 15, 20 yards maybe at the tops, and here he is. Got the thermosol going. As you can see, the mosquitoes are horrendous in here. I'm gonna get them packed up, take them for a toboggan ride, and get them out of here.
This portion of today's episode is brought to you by Bergara. Our barrels make the difference.
Hey guys, we're here now that we've taken our bear on our do-it-yourself bear hunt. This is a good friend of mine, Becky, who is here to help us to prepare the bear. Bear is another one of those meats that some people have a difficult time with. Becky will not have a difficult time with it.
Hi everybody, today we're gonna make bear tacos. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our meat. So I made a little rub here. There's chili powder in here, garlic powder, onion. I threw in a little bit of Cajun, salt and pepper. Really basic, really simple rub. You can use anything that makes you happy. You just kind of throw this over. You know, get a little bit messy. I'm gonna use my hands here. And as you can see, over here there's a nice big fat cap, which some people like to trim that off, but I like to call it gold. All that nice fat right there is going to render down in and make it super tender, super juicy, and it's going to make it pull apart really nice for these tacos. Smells good. I even have some smoked paprika. So this is tied together nicely. Okay, so we're going to sear it up all the way around. All right, that's the sort of crust that we're looking for here. That's going to help lock in a lot of flavor. So I'm just going to chop up an onion, and I'm going to put a few cloves of garlic in and kind of just place it underneath a little bit, okay? Have big pieces. That's probably the worst onion I've ever peeled. No pressure.
Stubborn onion.
Yeah. Right. I've got a few cloves of garlic, and you can put as many as you like, right? It's to taste. So I'll kind of just lift this up and sort of place them. It kind of acts as like a little bed that lets everything
comes up through.
Yeah. I usually just give my garlic like a little smash, the kind of the finer that you get it, give it a rough chop. So now the most important thing is the liquid that's going to go in there. So yeah, like I said, I went a little Mexican with the spices. Good. So I put some beer in and whatnot. You can do beer, you can do broth, you can do juice, you can do anything that you like, but you should always taste it first, right? You don't want to soak it, right? You just want to, it should just be enough to keep the flavor going, and then it'll kind of steam it around there. And I'm going to put it in the oven, say between 250, 300 degrees, and the longer the better. Here's the point where you can say, I got an Instant Pot, put it in. I got a crock pot, go ahead. You want to do this on the stovetop? Sure. You can do it in the oven, whatever works for you, but low and slow. You want to make sure at the end of all this that if you don't know if it's cooked, that you put an instant read thermometer in, and it's 165 for a minimum of 3 minutes. So that makes sure that it's fully cooked. You don't want to eat it undercooked.
Ta-da! Through the magic of television, we have a cooked one.
So we're just going to let this cool right now. We'll set it aside. It's nice and hot, and we'll deal with it in a little bit when we make our tacos. In the meantime, we've got to make our salsa and our slaw. All right, now we're going to get focused on our mango salsa. So we're going to start with a nice white onion, but you can use anything that you like. You can be versatile and be creative. So if you have a red onion, use it. If you have green onions, use them. If you don't like mango, feel free to use something like pineapple. Go ahead and put this in there. Smaller is better. I think I'm gonna cry. Are you feeling that? Yeah, that's really strong. Yeah. And we'll move on to some tomatoes over here. So I like Roma tomatoes. You can use any tomato that you like. I like them because they seem to have a little bit less juice to them. We've got our onions and our tomatoes there. I kind of hacked up a mango a little bit, but I'm gonna cut it into some smaller pieces. This is what's gonna give us our sweetness. I like to cut them fairly small. You can add 2 if you like. You know, it's all per your personal preference, personal taste. I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic in here. So we've already answered the question, can you have too much garlic? The answer is no. No. Definitely not.
Like Becky was saying, you know, it's very important not to allow any waste. Nothing goes to waste.
That's right.
I mean, the bottom line is that the animal made a sacrifice for us, and we're gonna make sure that we honor that sacrifice by preparing it in a great way that is going to be flattering to that meat, and as well that we're not wasting it.
That's right. And you've done the hard work. You did the prep for the hunt, the kill, the preparation to get the meat home and get it preserved. This is the fun part, right? This is where you get to be creative and reap the reward. So this is a jalapeno. It's just a little one. I've tasted these ones. They're not crazy hot, but again, preference. So that's what we're doing. I'll put 1 in to be kind, but
thank you.
Yeah, if especially because they're fresh, they're not cooked, so it does have a little bit of zing. So we've got that, and now I've got some limes here, and you need a fair amount of lime juice. That's what's going to give us a little bit of zing, right? Before we move on to the next piece.
This portion of today's episode is brought to you by PSE Archery.
This is our salsa, but we can't forget the salt and pepper, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of that.
It's gonna give it that sweet, salty taste. That's gonna be really nice.
Great. If you can grab a spoon out of there and just give that a little stir, I'm gonna put him to work. This is a little bit of slaw. You can use a slaw in a bag or just coleslaw, anything that you like. Even lettuce is fine too, but I like this because it gives it a little bit of crunch. So what I've done here, just in this mason jar, I've put sour cream, mayonnaise, and a little bit of lime juice. Okay, just eyeball it, a couple scoops of each one, and the next thing I'm gonna do is put a little bit of cilantro. So some people like it, some people hate it, but I won't go overboard on it.
Get the aroma from the cilantro as you're cutting it.
Can you smell it? Yeah, it's pretty good. So you know what? I'm not gonna add it to the dressing. I'm just gonna put it right in our slaw, just like that. And then I'm gonna kind of just pour that over. I also put a little dash of vinegar too, just for that tartness. And you know what I'll do again is just do a little bit of salt and pepper, just because. Okay guys, the next step in this process is purely optional. I'm just kind of hacking up an onion here, giving it some big, thick slices. And I'm just gonna saute them really quick. And then we're gonna take some of our bear here and we're gonna start shredding it and add that to it. So, as those are kind of cooking a little bit, we'll start shredding up our bear. We need that smell-o-vision again.
Smell, yeah, we need smell-o-vision again.
That's right. So I've got 2 big giant forks here, and you know what? I'm just gonna lift it to show you. Like, look at that.
It just falls apart.
Just coming apart.
Can't even lift it with the fork.
No, it's beautiful. Like, look at that nice, rich color. It's good. So I made up a barbecue sauce. You can use any barbecue sauce that you like. Any favorite sauce that you have will do just fine. And once we get that bear in there, I'm gonna just add a little bit to it, and it just takes it up a notch.
All the different flavors are mixing together. Like you say, that fat cap kind of melts into the whole thing. Terrific.
All right, now I'm just gonna add a little bit of barbecue sauce here. Just kind of give that a mix. So I have some corn tortillas here, and we're just gonna kind of place them on this cookie sheet. And you can have them soft, you can have them hard, you can do whatever you like. A little brush with some olive oil. You make the choice for yourself, but I made what I call Cool Ranch seasoning.
Okay.
So it's got chives, it's got parsley, I have chili powder, dill, onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of seasoning salt. So you just put basically a tablespoon or a teaspoon of each one. And then I'm kind of, you know what, I think I might just do it like this.
The smells here right now are
good
just
stuff, right?
Phenomenal, yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm just gonna pop these in the oven, melt them, and then we're gonna put all the stuff in our tacos. Okay, these are still kind of soft. You can see the cheese is super nice and melty inside. That's what we're going for. So I'm just gonna do something like this. I'm just gonna prop them up to show you to dress them, okay? So we'll
See that a good cook is a master of improvisation.
That's right. I'm just gonna take a little bit and kind of put that in. That might be a little bit much. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of our coleslaw here that we made for that crunch. You don't need much, right? Just a little bit. We want to really showcase our bear, so push that forward. This is just for the toppings. We'll just put a little scoop of our mango salsa. I'm gonna put a little bit of feta that I have here. You don't need it, but it just gives it that, you know, that
Just
saltiness.
crumble a little
Yep.
on? Yeah, look at that, eh?
Yeah, you definitely don't have to. You can always add cilantro and put a few leaves on, but all right, it's all you.
Wow, does that ever look good?
So I think a taco cheers is in order. Should we do it?
Absolutely.
Cheers. Okay. I like it.
The sweetness and the savory with the barbecue sauce, fantastic. Well, Becky, thank you very much again for helping us with our bear and sharing some of your fantastic talents with us. It's something that you can cook for your family. Utilize your bear roasts that have been in your freezer for a little while, and everybody's going to line up to get more. Join us next week for more exciting hunting action on Line of Sight.
For exclusive sneak peeks and behind the scenes action, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Line of Sight TV.